Welcome to The Thing About Witch Hunts. I'm Josh Hutchinson.
And I'm Sarah Jack. Today, we're exploring a critical issue that affects vulnerable women across India: witchcraft accusations and the cycle of violence they create.
Our guest, Bharvi Shahi, a final year law student at the School of Legal Studies, Riva University, currently pursuing her LLM at Christ University, Bengaluru. And Rizina Ahmed, assistant professor of law at the School of Law, Presidency University, Bengaluru, bring expertise from their work in Northeast India's tribal communities and international human rights law.
Learn how accusations rooted in beliefs about supernatural harm intersect with gender inequality, social isolation, and legal systems that struggle to protect victims.
This is a conversation about stigma, silence, and survival.
Welcome to the Thing About Witch Hunts podcast. Today we have a special panel speaking to us about stigma, silence, and survival, women accused of witchcraft in India. Please introduce yourselves with your name and a brief intro about your research and expertise.
Hi, I'm Razina. I am working as an assistant professor at Presidency University, Bangalore. I'm also a research scholar, and since the last 4 years, I have been working on witch hunts in the northeastern part of India, in Assam. Because in Assam, we have many tribal communities which are actually there. And among the tribal communities, like we know that this whole superstition thing is quite a bit more if we compare it to the mainstream people. My research has been mainly among two tribes, one which is called the Bodos and the other one which is called the Rabhas, which are mainly, you can see their prominence in the northeastern part of India, and how the witch hunting goes about in these two tribes, and how women have been mostly the victims of witch hunts when we talk about these tribes.
I am Bharvi Shahi, and now I'm pursuing my LLM from Christ University, Bangalore, and I'm specializing in IPR and international trade law. And I did my undergrad from Riva University. So the topic what I have for today is like it's on the concept of belief, how belief play a very important role when we talk about witchcraft or witch hunt, and what is the main difference between belief and harmful practices when that belief turns into a harmful practices. So this is what I'll be discussing about.
Bharvi, you've emphasized that international human rights bodies distinguish between belief and harmful practices. Can you
Yeah.
elaborate on how witchcraft accusations specifically target vulnerable women, widows, the elderly, those with disabilities, and what this reveals about underlying power structures in societies?
Okay. So basically, first, I would like to explain how I feel that there is a difference between belief and harmful practices with respect to witchcraft. I feel that belief refers to the acceptance that witchcraft or superstitious beliefs exist in the current society. When those beliefs involve certain actions that people think that these beliefs are making some kind of a sin in the society, or to say like they are just taking it as a base to kill someone or harass them. So that's what I feel, that when people around make that if someone is having some kind of a belief regarding any thought or anything, and when they just go against them, just go on harassing them, or doing any kind of violation against them, or even killing them to an extent, I would say that that's what becomes a harmful practices. Because I feel that as per how much I have read and all, international laws always said that you have a freedom of thoughts and expressions, right? So that's a universal law that is provided. So if I believe in certain practices, like in India, I'll tell you my own experience. So my mom tells me that, whenever you comb your hair, just don't leave your hair anywhere. Either you just store it off and just go flow it with the earthly things, whether you burn it off or you just put it in the water and throw it off. So if I'm doing that thing, that's completely my personal belief. No one can blame me that, okay, you are doing something like this and something wrong happens around me, then I'm responsible for it. No one has that right. So I feel that just because I have a belief, that doesn't mean someone can come and say that something wrong around me is happening because of me, because of certain superstitious belief that I have. So when I was researching about this belief, when particularly the question about elderly women, the widows, I feel when in the society where I stay, it's basically because of the patriarchal thinking that goes. Because they think that when men are there, the women is something. And if they are not them, like women can be treated anyway. And everyone just need a reason to harass them or to exclude them from the society. So they take witchcraft as one of the thing, that okay, that widow has touched something and someone has eaten and now they are feeling ill or something, or think that they will just hold off that particular lady, and they'll think that it's because of you, you did something, and that's why everything is happening. So this is how it goes. I mean, I feel that way.
Razina, your research focuses on Northeast India's tribal populations. How do traditional belief systems intersect with modern legal frameworks when addressing witch hunting? And what unique challenges do tribal women face in these contexts?
When we talk about the tribal women in northeastern India, so what we can see are these are the indigenous population of northeastern India. So as we know about indigenous population, this is the population which is actually cut off from the other communities. They like to stay within their own communities. So they preserve their culture, they preserve their tradition, they preserve what is their belief system. Their belief system started with worshipping nature, with believing the superstitions or in believing that there is a supernatural power. With that belief came the belief in demons and the belief that women, being the weaker sex and being the weaker beings, so they are an easy prey to demons, which had started as a superstition and still it goes on. Because among the tribal communities, what is going on is whenever there is an illness or there is a famine, there is anything related to that to which they don't have an answer, and human beings being inquisitive, we always look for answer. Why is this happening to the community? So rather than going to hospitals, rather than going to people who can give them answers about what is the reason that this is happening, they actually look for someone within their community who can give them an answer. Among the tribals, if I talk about the two tribes that I'm studying, they have this village person, or you can say the village doctor, whom they call Kobiras or Ojha in Assamese. So this is the person who is the one who can tell them the reason why things are happening in the village. If there is a disease that they have never heard of, they have never seen, supposing schizophrenia, right? They don't know what are the symptoms. They see someone has been attacked or something has happened, the person is behaving abnormally. They don't go to a doctor firsthand. They don't visit. First of all, when we talk about these tribal people living in a far off area from the mainland, transportation, infrastructure, everything is a hurdle for them. So the first person they believe in is a person who belongs to their own community. So they'll go to the Oja, they'll tell them that something has happened to this person. And the Oja, who does not have the requisite qualifications to decipher what is the illness, what is the reason behind an illness, he will be the one who will predict that there is a witch in this village who has cast her magical spells. And the people who are governed by nature, who still believe in the supernatural, who still believe in the nature and in demon and in God. So they are very inquisitive and curious that who is the witch. And the Oja will finally give them a name that this is the woman who is the witch. And the villagers, they get together either in the panchayat, that is the local self-government that they have, because everyone in the village, they believe in it. It's not like we have someone who goes against the belief system. The community lives as a united community. So there is no one who will go against, who will tell them that, okay, no, we should visit a doctor and we should take a first-hand report about what the doctor says about the illness. So because the Oja said, the Oja is, far more important than any doctor who is staying mainstream, because no doctor visits them because of the transportation facility. There is no proper hospital. There is no proper transportation for a doctor to visit them and make them aware. So the Oja tells them that, okay, there is a witch. The villagers, they get together and they decide on how to deal with the witch. Either they will first find out if the witch is someone who is single, then maybe they will decide what will be the fate of that witch, either pelt stones at her, hurl abuses at her, and finally throw her out of the village or outcast her. If the witch that has been predicted by the Oja, that witch has a family, that the entire family is banished from that particular village. So, what we see is that belief system that women are the ones who are weaker, and because women are weaker, the demons can possess them. Earlier, like it started as a fact that demons can possess both men and women, but this belief somehow changed its course, and that belief system became stronger that a woman is the one who is weaker, and so they are the ones who are mostly possessed. The men are just the ones who are not actually possessed, but they belong to the family of the witch. So the men also need to be banished. But majorly, we can see the primary targets are women, and the entire procedure of victimizing a woman, or the entire procedure of blaming a woman for all the health crisis that is going on or anything that is going on in the village, that starts with the prediction of a person who does not have the requisite qualification to call out what is the reason behind a health crisis, or what is the reason behind an anomaly that is happening in the village.
Thank you so much. Bharvi, you mentioned witchcraft beliefs have a global cultural footprint. How do accusations against women manifest differently across cultures, yet maintain similar patterns of targeting the most vulnerable?
So this is something I mentioned because when I was just going through and studying through the materials that I found online, the reliable sources. So I found that when I was searching about India, how India is coping up with all this witch hunt and witchcraft process. So I saw that I came to an article, it talked about Africa. So in Africa, like literally, there are camps where they try to protect women who are exiled because of this concept of witchcraft, like they are doing some kind of a witchcraft or they are practicing some kind of these superstitious beliefs and everything. So I was just going through that article and I realized that even they had the same thing, that again, the same concept of patriarchal mindset comes in play. That they think that women, if they are not with a man or they don't have a family and they're just some random person, they just consider them random person who has these superstitious belief and everything around them is happening just because of them, because they are the sinisters, because they are the ones who just do all these stuffs where people are getting harmed because of them. I mean, they don't really think logically. I feel that the logic just vanishes away when it comes to beliefs and everything. We don't support the facts that, okay, if you're telling someone that this is the person, how are you even blaming them? What is the reason for your blame? Can you just justify it? So, this is something I felt very weird also, that if you can't justify a blame, how can you just blame someone? I feel everything has a logic behind them, behind everything. So this is one thing. And then I felt like, I mean, if I go on the legal aspect, I'll just talk about the legal aspect. So specifically in India, because Razina talked about India, so I just thought of adding this thing. So India doesn't have a central law for this. Only the states like Jharkhand, Bihar, there are the states in India. So they have certain laws about it. So recently there was this bill passed in India, but then again there's this question of implementation. I feel that not only just in India, but globally, this problem is there, that, okay, you do have laws, you do have the centers, commission, but then how, to what extent are you able to implement those laws? This is the thing. And yes, globally, the most common thing that I have observed is again that the same thing, the patriarchal mindset, which I can't really leave off because it keeps on sticking into my mind. Okay, this is something very common. Like people, no matter whether it's a developed country, developing country, or underdeveloped country, all three have the same concept. It comes to them like in the same manner. Yeah.
So there seems to be institutional silence. You mentioned that there are laws, but implementing them is very difficult. How does that get resolved where laws can be implemented?
So, see, this is something, yeah, even I have to really go through it because I haven't really researched upon it. But as a law student, I would feel that it's always about creating awareness. It's always about holding those people liable who are actually responsible for this. Because if we keep on leaving them stating that, okay, this is how it goes in that particular area, we can't just go there and hit our head and get involved in these stuffs. We have seen many people, many officers, when they are scared to get into those tribal areas, telling that if we go and get involved in there, all those kinds of matter, they will ultimately think that we are also one of them. I mean, you can't just say that. You are there, you have to be there, you are someone chosen so that you can implement those laws. So it is the awareness, I feel, that one of the reason people are not so aware about it. And they kind of, irrespective of the fact how much educated we are, still people have this belief and they don't want to get involved. So this thing is some, I feel that it should be not just taken as a secondary matter, rather it should go into the primary lane. I feel that way.
Okay, I would like to add here. So, when we talk about implementation, right? So, implementation can be done only when I think it aligns with the belief system. Because the problem when I'm doing my research with the tribal people here, the problem is they might know of the law, they might be aware of the law, but if the law does not align with the belief system that they have, I don't think they're going to accept that. Because like I said, that this is a community which lives within themselves. They're not really okay to mingle with the other communities. They're not okay with mingling with other people. They believe in the people, they believe in the people who are there with them. So they don't believe in outsiders. Some law has come, let it come. That is the attitude that they have. So I think implementation is not possible until and unless we study about what is the belief system and how the implementation can be actually aligned with their belief system. Until and unless it is aligned with the belief system, or maybe we can just pray for a miracle that happens, that their entire mindset gets changed and they somehow understand that superstition cannot be the logic behind giving punishment to someone, and you are in no position to punish someone just because you just think that, okay, that person has got some supernatural power because of which the person has been casting spells on the village. What I feel is implementation. Yes, I agree with Bharvi that, yeah, India does not have a central legislation. But if I talk about Assam, the northeastern state, in Assam in 2018, actually, a state legislation was being passed, which was very, very stringent. And if we talk about the tribal communities, the communities that I'm working with, so when we see the people who are involved, it's not like one person that you can single out that one person and you can punish that person for what he has done. It's the entire village which is involved. So it's like something that they have taken a decision in a united way. Everyone is standing with everyone when they're taking the decision, because that is the belief. That is what they believe in. They believe that the woman is a witch. The woman is a witch to the entire village. It's not one person who is casting the punishment, who is dictating the punishment. There is one person, obviously, who is predicting that, okay, this person is the witch, but belief is there for the entire village, for the entire community. It's not one person. So we can't single out one person and punish that person. It will be like punishing the entire village. So what I'm saying is, we till now, India has been taking cognizance of witch hunting only when there has been a murder, there has been a rape under the other provisions of the central legislation. But yeah, the states which have witch hunting in the rise, they have their own legislations. The problem with implementation comes because of the belief system. Because no one, you can't single out one person, two people, or three people, that only three people are responsible for that entire incident that has happened. It's the entire village which takes part in this outcasting. And yeah, just like Bharvi said, it is actually true that people are really, they dread going to the tribal villages. Here, I just like to tell about one of the incidents that happened with me. So in Assam, actually, we have one particular village which is called Dainigaon. So in that village, there are the victims of witch hunts who stay there. There are nearly about 20 to 25 families which are staying in that village. These are all people who have been outcasted from the village because they were named as a witch and they have been outcasted from the village. So these people, they stay in that particular village. They have formed their own community and they stay in the village. I had read about articles and I wanted to visit that village. So to visit that village, I wanted to take someone with me who can help me to get acquainted with the villagers. So I approached an NGO which works in that particular region. When I went to them and I told them that I want to visit that village, what they told me actually surprised me. They told me that you want to go, you can go on your own. We are not going with you, because when you go there, they might just kill you and they might just dump you there. So we won't take the risk. If you want to go, just go alone and think about your life before going there. So that is the belief that these are people who already know magic spells. So this is an NGO which is working for the betterment, for the upliftment of the people. And that is the belief system that they have. They are not going to the village. They are not talking about the villagers. So just think about it, that an NGO is not willing to work with those people. Who is going to help them? No one. I don't think anyone would want to mingle with them, because thinking that, okay, these are all people with magical power, you go near them and they will just kill you there and dump you there. So no one goes to them, no one listens to their ordeal, what actually happened with them. Are they the victims? Are they not the victims? How do we get the answer if we don't visit these people? And being activists, these are the people who should be taking the first step. These are the people who should encourage other people that, yes, you should visit them, you should talk to them, you should know what actually happened to them. But no, instead of doing that, they are demotivating other people also, that, okay, if you go there, they're going to kill you. You're not going to come back alive. That is the whole situation. So I don't know how, if there is a law, there is a belief system, and the law goes against their belief system. Law is saying this is wrong. The entire thing of branding someone a witch, that is wrong. According to them, there has to be some reason because of which this is happening. And because they're not aware of, or they don't have any education, they don't want to mingle with other people, they don't have any idea what is going on. So they tend to stick to whatever belief they have been believing in since ages, whatever their ancestors have taught them, whatever their elderly in the village have taught them. They seem to align to those beliefs. So I think that until and unless we have the law or the legal system aligned with the belief system, and maybe we find out a way that how we can mingle with their belief system, go to them, talk to them, bring them out in the open, I don't think implementation to a larger extent would be possible.
I have a couple of questions about the village and that scenario that you shared. Did you go?
I did not.
You did not. Okay.
No,
And
I
that's
did not.
fine. That I was just curious. And my other question is, so it sounds like it's a village of outcast families and there's not much external contact going in. But is the fear that what I want to understand about the risk of violence to visitors, is that because of them protecting themselves because of what they have gone through and they don't trust outsiders? Why is there a fear that they would not accept a visit?
No, I don't think they won't accept a visit, because I told you, like, I read some articles which has been written by some of the, publishing houses of India or newspapers of India, where actually the journalist, the photographer, they went there as a team. They went there. They have taken interviews of the people. They're just normal people. I've seen photos of the villagers. So they're just normal people. It's not like they won't accept a visit from outsiders. I don't think that. So I also tried to contact with the journalist who actually went there. And she told me that, yes, you can visit them, but yeah, they'll take time to open up, because they tend to not believe, because they have been outcasted by their own people. So they tend to not believe. Maybe if you can take someone along with you whom they can believe in, then that way maybe they will open up, they'll talk to you. Otherwise, they might feel uncomfortable talking to you. That is the reason that I had to visit an NGO, so that I can take someone with me, and because of which I could not visit, because no one was willing to go with me. So I didn't have anyone to go. And if I would have gone alone, then maybe they would not believe in me, or not opened up to me, not talked about what happened with them. But the photos that I have seen, which has been shared, which is also available online, they're just normal people living a normal life. They're smiling, they're having their cattle, they have their own families, they have their children. These are just normal people. How can you just say that these people, if we go near them, they're going to kill us?
Yeah. And are they coming from different traditional backgrounds and languages? Or
Yes. The only thing that binds them is that they are all victims of witch hunts from their own villages. They have come together and they're staying together.
And that's really unique in itself, because in the world, we generally, communities stay together who have history together. So for them to be bound because of this trauma they've gone through, that is, there's so much to learn from
Yes.
that. Yeah.
I really, really wish that in near future I can actually get someone who can help me or who can help me communicate with them.
So I just wanted to add something. Like, we always tend to forget the fact that it's like, even if they just become rebellious, or where this tag comes that if you enter to their area they will kill you or they will beat you up, we just forget the fact that it's not them who started this thing first. It was because they were treated like this, they are forced to become like that. Because every time when someone outside enters a group of people, they fear that they have just come again to harass them or just to kill them, and again they have to just leave everything again and just start a new life. This is something that we all ignore. They were not born rebellious, they were not born like that. They have become, like, the people around them have made them. So yeah, this was something I wanted to tell.
Thank you. Just thinking about Rosina and Barbie, what I wanted to talk about is comparing it to these outcast camps in Ghana, because that is in the news. People are familiar. Ghana in the north has collections of women, men, children who have gone through these witchcraft accusations and banishments. Amnesty International has gone in and done research and talked to them and has a report. NGOs go in and provide provisions or try to, sometimes there's mental health services, but there's still like all these complications, because even with all of the help, the well-intentioned help that goes in, they're still in the state of vulnerability. And so I wonder, with your village in India, it's not that far into acknowledging their existence and supporting them. Do you think about that too? And that first contact, a second contact other than the journalist, is so important, but that whole process of supporting them, and then is there rehabilitation? And I know I'm rambling here, but I'm thinking it's so interesting to me because of all of the different aspects of what the folks in Ghana who are in these camps, they don't want to leave, but where they're at isn't safe still. And I'm sure that it would be similar here where you're speaking. They're together, but are they really safe?
Actually, that can be a question, that are they really safe? Because one interesting fact was that what I read about this village was that this village is nowhere on the map. You can't find it on the map. You can't find where this village is located. So actually, I had to do a lot of research to actually find out that which district does this village belong to? Where is it? So finally, I got to know that it's on the borderline somewhere with another state, Assam and another state. And on the borderline is the village. And I finally found the district which the village belongs to. And only then I could go to the people and ask them. Some people were not willing to talk about the village at all. And like I said, that when I approached the NGO, which actually works with the victims of witch hunts, they were not ready to go to the village, or they were not ready to accompany me to going to the village. So, yes, this actually is a thought to ponder upon, that how are they actually managing someone who has been outcasted? They don't have anyone to call their own, because when we talk about a village, it's like a close knit family. They have been living together since years, and suddenly one fine day you are branded a witch, your entire family is just outcasted from that entire village. And then you go on and you meet some strangers who had the same fate, who had to go through the same trauma, and you bind with them and you are staying together. So I actually, yes, this is a thought that would linger in your mind, that how are they managing? Is it just that bonding of trauma that is keeping them together? But also we have to think, how are they managing to keep in touch with the outer world? How are they managing to get their maybe basic necessities? How are they living their life? Are they even getting what they want? Are their children able to go to schools to get their education, to learn how their families was actually been outcasted and what was the reason of that outcast? Because at the end, it's like a big circle that if we still go on believing that, yes, it's because of the supernatural that this has happened, even their children will never understand the fact that what actually happened with them, because of which this has become their fate, that they're living like this.
How many generations have lived in this outcast camp? Has it been
Then
there a couple decades? Do you know, like, how long has it been accumulating?
we have only a few articles being written about this particular village. So maybe that is the reason that till now we don't have quite a lot of exposure about this village, or people don't know yet about this village.
Just one thing, yeah. Since Razina talked about Assam, so since you asked about the generations that have been facing this problem, so in that case, I would state example of Rajasthan. So Rajasthan has this particular smaller regions over there. It's a state in India. So in that particular smaller regions, they do have this thing. So I'll tell you an incident that I have seen because I've been into Rajasthan. So what happens is like there are these women wearing black, complete black dress, and they are specifically called for mourning when someone dies. And they have a specific space to sit, and they are treated like that. No one goes to touch them, but they have to come and cry. And I came to know through my relatives that I mean they are doing this from generation. Like they told me 4 generation, but I feel it goes way more back. So like they are, and we are into the modern world, but still this concept goes on. I mean, still people in those local areas or in those smaller places, if someone dies, they will call them, telling that they have to come and cry or something. And it's not a very good thing for them to call there and cry. They're just not treated very well. They will be given a space that okay, you have to just sit in that particular space only. You cannot move out of that space. You cannot move in of the space. And it happens because I asked my relative that why does this happen, so they're like somehow they have to make earnings, so they do this thing. And I was like, okay, there's no answer to this, why this keep on happening. I mean, still in the very inner parts of the different states, whether it's UP, Bihar, Jharkhand, Rajasthan, these are some specific ones which I'm stating. If you go in the very local area, you still find these kinds of stigma and still find all these kinds of beliefs, that goes on. In that particular group, even, there are literally 18 years girls also who got married and some because of due to some reason they become widow, and all of them are widow actually. No one is young or unmarried. All of them had husband and they just died due to some reason, and then they have this particular community. Yeah, that's all I just wanted to tell.
Parvi, I wanted to know what gives you hope for the future? Anything that gives you reason for optimism?
I just don't know. I mean, I being a woman, I feel that okay, there has to be something done for them. Especially when you are a law student, you always get this thing that okay, we have to do something for them. It's okay. I might not be able to do to an extent, but at least I can give my voice to people. Understand? Just before this podcast, when I was discussing with my friends, at least I was able to tell those 10 people that okay, there is something like that exists, and then they will convey it to another 10. So this is how I believe, because I won't just randomly shoot arrows in the sky and tell that no, I want to do this and tomorrow only I'll be there and I'll be fighting for them and this. But I know there are small steps that have to be taken initially, and then it becomes into a large step. So that's what I feel.
Thank you so much. Rosina, I was wondering what type of survival strategies are women who, and I know it's not just women who are being accused, these whole families are finding themselves isolated and banished, but are there survival strategies that you're seeing?
Survival strategies, as in, are we talking about from the whole branding, or are we talking about after being banished from the village?
Either, but I was wondering, are there survival strategies so that I am not the witch? Someone's going to get named. How do I stay out of the target?
There is no survival strategy to say that, okay, I should never be branded a witch, but rather, if you are a single woman, if you are an elderly woman, or you are a disabled woman who does not have a man in the family, there are chances that you will be the next who will be branded a witch. But what can be seen is, from the research that I have done, what can be seen is that a person from amongst the community can actually make a lot of difference. So, in one of the districts of Assam called Gwalpara, so there were a lot of cases of witch hunting. Then there was this woman who was accused of being a witch. Her name was Birubala Rabha. So this woman, she was accused of being a witch and she had a disabled son. Even her son was accused of having some magical power because he was disabled and they were an easy target and they were banished from the village. This woman did not lose hope. She went on and she actually started a crusade against witch hunting. She started an NGO which works for victims of witch hunting. She started awareness programs. And by dint of that, she just started it as a small movement. Her entire family was banished. She saw what was happening. And she knew that this was not happening only with her, it was happening with a lot of other families. So the crusade that she started went on to actually become a very big revolution. And at the end, when I visited Gwalpara in this year, what I can very proudly say is that people are actually thankful to her that they now understand that branding someone a witch is not the solution. When I looked at the data that I have collected, Walpara had the lowest number of witch hunt incidents. People had not heard of witch hunts in the last 5 years. Not a single incident of branding someone a witch. And actually, all of them, they know about this woman. They know that she started the movement. They told that when she started this off, no one believed her or people did not want to talk to her. But somehow she managed to gather women who have gone through the same thing and they have been branded a witch. She talked to them. She talked to her family. She talked to the male members or far off relatives. That's how she brought the people together. This woman, I would be very lucky had I got a chance to meet her, but actually she died last year. But she was given the largest honorary award in India for being the biggest crusader of witch hunts. She was a Rabha woman belonging to a tribal community, a woman who was branded as a witch and she was outcasted from her village. Similarly, I also had the chance to talk to one of a police personnel. So this person, he's an IPS. He worked for the Indian Police Service and he was posted in a particular village. So when I was talking to him, he told me that I was posted in this particular village and suddenly one night someone just came in to report that there has been murders. And when I went, the entire village was in unity saying that we decided that they should be murdered, they should be killed. And when I asked them what was the reason that you murdered them, the reason was as simple as that all the children in the village, they were getting affected by some sort of disease. And they got to know from their village health man or the village doctor that this family had a witch and they were protecting the witch. So they decided that they're going to murder the entire family so that the village is free of that disease. So this person, this police personnel, he actually started making the people aware. First of all, he started making the policemen in that particular village aware that this is just superstition. This is nothing else. He started creating rallies. He started creating awareness program. And he's a very well-known name now when we talk about witch hunts in Assam. His name is Kulodhar Saikia. What I see is that with these two people, these two examples, what I see is that from amongst the community, sometimes we find a ray of hope, we find a light of hope, people who have not given up, people who have actually stood against this and they have brought the entire community together, taught something good.
That seems to be the key we're seeing around the world, hearing the same things in Africa, Papua New Guinea, that people listen to people that they know more than a stranger coming in and telling them how to do things. You can't, that's not the way to operate. It's to help the people, help their own community.
Also, just one thing, Rosina, that there's this state Bengal in India. In general, I'm telling you, people, irrespective of the fact whether they come from a big family, modern family, or middle class family or even from the lower family. They have this general tag, especially the women's, the girls, that, you know, if she's a Bengali, it means that she is doing some black magic. Don't have food from her. I see people making fun also, especially students. You will come across, that, okay, so I'm a Bengali, and then there will be a person telling, oh, you are Bengali, it means black magic. This is how they literally, sometimes it's very hurtful to see that, the person or the girl gets offended. I have a friend, she got offended. That doesn't mean just because I come from this particular state, you can say anything about me. So they have this general tag, this specifically Bengal. This particular whole state, as in general, has this tag of doing black magic.
We talked about a lot of intersections today: the stigma, the banishment, the silence, superstition, and harmful practices. And I think this was really a great additional look at how communities have these deep seated beliefs and the price that the vulnerable are still paying today. When we look through history, these things that we're hearing from you, they're very specific to regions and cultures, but they're also very familiar to other ways we have seen humanity hurting itself and its loved ones. And I appreciate you bringing these aspects to this conversation with us today. Is there anything else that you want our listeners to understand about what we've touched on today?
I just want to say that just because there is a normal belief system that women are weak and that's why they're possessed by a demon, that is not at all true. Women are as strong as men when we talk about the emotion of women. We are as strong. It's not like we are weak and we are the ones who are going to be possessed. Maybe if we look logically, you will find many other reasons why something is happening. And rather than sticking on to something, some supernatural belief, something which has no logic, something which has no reasoning, maybe this is the time that we give reason a chance. Maybe this is the time that we give our human logic a chance. Rather than sticking to supernatural, let's give our human reasoning a chance to think that what can happen and what cannot happen. This is entirely impossible that a woman can possess magic, cast spell upon an entire village, make the entire village children sick, make everyone sick, and even lead them to death. Women are the one who create lives. So women are not the ones who take lives.
I literally completely agree with Razina, because something that in the beginning of the session, I told that just don't randomly think everything. You should have a logic behind a belief, or if you're blaming someone, what is the justificable reason that you can give to it? Okay, something very important. Just because you know something, because you heard something, because there's a story behind it, it doesn't mean that you keep on blaming that community or you keep on defaming them. Basically, you can't just keep on doing this thing. So yes, I just agree with her.
Thank you to Razina Ahmed and Bharvi Shahi for sharing their research and insights with us today. These conversations matter because they reveal the human cost of witch hunts happening right now in communities around the world.
If this episode challenged your thinking or taught you something new, share it with others who care about human rights and social justice. You can support our work by visiting our online bookstore, bookshop.org/shop/endwitchhunts, where you'll find curated resources on witch hunts, gender-based violence, and the history of accusations. Every purchase helps us continue bringing you these important conversations.
Until next time, keep listening, keep learning, and keep working toward a world without witch hunts. Have a great today and a beautiful tomorrow.